Hey everybody, welcome back to another video. And in today's video, we are going to be rating this guy's tier list. So Sub-Ignorance's tier list. And he's basically got many of the top 20 players in the game for Maelstrom. And he's gathered their thoughts about each character. And yes, I have read every single basically file analysis on all these characters. I read these yesterday. I even said Zombie Man got done dirty. Like, I'm basically going to be rating his picks and basically how he chose the characters. And of course, I'm not going to be reading everything out here, but I'll obviously see his choices through here. So first of all, we're actually going to start at top to bottom here. So first of all, Tatsumaki. Yes, she's a very good character. I don't know if she's up there because she is kind of alright. Of course, these are just being judged on P6, by the way. So yes, the SR characters are going to be a little lower because of their P6s. But yeah, let's get right into it. So again, like I said, Tatsumaki, a little high. I'm going to say Prisoner Sonic's up there. I don't really think they should be this high. Like, they're really good, but their arms is not the best. So they needed damage and composure break arms on their team, right? So yes, Tatsumaki has disable, which is very useful, and Sonic has heal, which is also very useful. But in a game that's more focused around damage, I would like to see like a My Mask being a little higher here, because he is a damage and he has a high skill cap and he's an overpower type, which is a very good class in the game, and he also does a shit ton of damage. And what I mean by high skill ceiling is that he has a lot of beats, right, which make it so that you could, if you click them fast enough, you can have more damage, right? And he's also good on AI, so he should be top of S, I'd say. But yeah, that's one thing I'd change. Now, Sonic being here is pretty decent. Like, I don't know, man. I'm pretty sure these two are what two best characters in the game, so this is valid. S, moving on to S, obviously talked about in My Mask. Now we're going to talk about Genos. This is the regular Genos. This is SR. He's all the way up here. And that's really good. This just shows how good he is. Now, I'm not sure I'd put him in third best character in the game, necessarily. Like, I'm pretty sure Metal Knight might take his place, but the reason being is you can pilot Genos pretty well. So, that's why he's above Metal Knight. But, yeah. I'd probably put it on My Mask, Metal Knight, then Genos, personally. Or My Mask, Genos, then Metal Knight. Metal Knight, same story. The one thing he's really good in is his arms isn't the best, but what he really exceeds in and excels in is definitely his damage on AI. His AI can pilot extremely well, and Metal Knight requires a lot of multitasking. For example, his Q ability, your M1, recharging your M1, and obviously controlling your R modes and getting in as many as you can. Plus, you also have to factor in the E. So every single ability in the game is very, very hard to do. And his ultimate's harder to cast. It's very, very delayed. Well, where Genos has a very, very good ultimate where it's ranged and it casts way faster. So there is that. Now, Sonic. I don't think Sonic should be up here. This is a weird tier list because after all of these guys, they all seem pretty mid. And they make it that way. I think Sonic is good, but he's a little weak in terms of damage. So even though he has a damage arms, he's in one of the worst classes in the game, which is Technique. And he's the best Technique character according to this tier list. I don't think he should be this high on A. Now, Saitama Dreamworld, pretty bad on AI. I think if we go down to Saitama Dreamworld here, he said his AI is alright. I'd probably argue that his AI is awful. His AI can't really do too much. Basically, he said it's pretty weak, but I think it's very weak. And he gets knocked really easily, so there's that, right? So piloting Dreamworld Saitama would be number 1 on a morale character tier list. On a morale character team, sorry, we'd have Saitama, Genos, Sonic, and then we'd have Stinger. Or another SSR morale, right? That would be the team, right? And so that means Saitama, I think, should be top of A. Eiron's good. He's harder to play, but he's good. His parry's nice, and he does require a little bit of mastery, so he is up there. Then I'd probably put Sonic. and then also Genos would probably be above Spring, because Genos is really good. Genos is really good. Um, he does a lot of damage. Composure Break's pretty nice, and he can keep things going with his modes, right? But he isn't the best, and I've noticed that. He's not very good on AI, actually, so that's what drags him down. Mustachio's pretty good. This guy recommended in a Passion build on Spring Mustachio instead of a Composure Break. And I can see where he's coming from there, but arguably Composure Break would be better because it builds on its attack too. And then we have Golden Ball. Golden Ball shouldn't be up here. He's harder. He's really hard to pilot, and he's similar to Metal Knight, but technique. In a way where he's difficult, but AI can master him pretty well. So that's a pro for him. But I just don't see Golden Ball being any good. Small Man A, dude. I'd probably drop this guy down to B. Like Small Man's, I feel like people rate Small Man really high. And while he can be good, his ball doesn't do nearly as much damage as you'd think it would. And yeah, he's not a very good character, in my opinion. Obviously, Small Man lovers, you can probably make him a good character from your skill alone, but I just don't see him that good. Atomic Samurai, I can see why he's B. His dodge relies a lot on dodging. His AI is surprisingly good, that people give him credit for, but it's just not good enough. Damage is not good enough either, which I see kind of not. Like, if I actually built on Atomic Samurai, he'd be decent, but I didn't even really specifically build on this guy. Oh. And he ended up becoming very, very solid. So, yeah, I'm just going to quickly copy this image. Lily, I think Lily deserves a little higher than that. She has accurate dodge, she has good damage, good fluidity. She actually does damage with her dodge, which I didn't even notice while she's in mode. Same thing with Stinger. Stinger needs to go higher than that. Justice to Stinger. Justice to Stinger, man. This guy, absolute unit on the battlefield. His AI is insane, dude. He outfragged my Zombie Man in terms of damage while I was piloting Zombie Man. So Stinger is on another level. Okay, Stinger's actually really good, and I don't even have him maxed out on PL necessarily, but he's been outfragging a lot of my characters lately, and I think he's a very solid character. I think he's really good, very versatile, very fun to play. You have his charge move, and you can build around that using that, or you can build around using M1 to charge up your mode, and then use your mode to do a lot of damage as well. Skill character, you have your accurate dodging Q, you have your stamina management, which it's not actually too difficult to do that, and of course dodging, because if you don't dodge, you're going to get staggered. Same thing with Fubuki, except Fubuki is harder to pilot, where she has to accurate dodge a lot. She's in the same category as Stinger, where she's kind of like fun to play, but I definitely think Fubuki is one of the worst characters in the game for SSR, and also for regular characters in the game. So I really see her near the bottom of the list, and she's very hard to build. And then again, main flaw with Stinger is he dies, but if you don't die with Stinger, then of course you don't have to worry about that. So Stinger deserves A. Smile Man, Golden Ball, drop them down, right? Lily replaces them, and Atomic stays at the top of B, and then maybe drop Fubuki down to bottom C, right? That's my consensus there. I won't make another tier list entirely, but because you've already seen my tier list, but yeah. Puri, I can see him being in C tier. Like, he doesn't do nearly as much damage as you want him to. And if you have Metal Knight in your team, you don't need his arms either. But Puri Prisoner is a really loved character in this game, where he's a parry character, kind of like Saitama, but he's good. And the problem is I definitely see them having a different build. The Passion build doesn't really work very well in this game, other than Saitama. Like, if you take a look at Silverfang and Puri, they're really bottom on this list, and they don't really do enough damage. Like, if they were a negative crit character, these guys would be like A tier. Like, if they were like built like a Metal Knight and of my mask, these guys would be at least A tier bare minimum, right? Because of the bonus damage from negative crit, but they're not. So, with that being said, Puri doesn't do enough damage. He has a great playstyle though. I really like him. His sprint's really amazing. I love that. But just doesn't do his job as well as he should be doing in terms of damage. He tanks well, actually, so that is his job. but he needs more damage. So I can see why he's C, but man, his playstyle alone should bring him up to B. Saitama, same thing as him, except he's worse than Puri Puri Prisoner. SR Puri Puri, basically. But he's actually pretty decent. I have P6 on him, so I can say that. But yeah, definitely not a very good character. I might even drop him down to a D, because he's proved me wrong a lot of times, where he's a very good character in terms of defensive and stuff, but you can drop down to D because of the fact that I have him on P6, and SSRs on P6 are insanely overpowered. So most of them should be up here, right? But I can see why Stinger's P6 is lackluster a little bit. I can see that. Now we're moving on to Lightning Max. Lightning Max is a character that does a lot of damage with his roundhouse kicks. He can use his Q well. I don't like his M1, but I'd probably put him in B at least. Like, this guy deserves more than that. This guy's really lingering down below here. And then D, whew, they absolutely smoked my man Zombie Man. I literally said that in the comments. Where is it? Right here. Base tier list, Zombie Man got done dirty. Dude, this tier list is overall good, and I can see where he's coming from. But, dude, Zombie Man at least C. At least bare minimum, man. This guy was regarded, there's no balance changes. He was regarded as one of the best characters in the One Punch Man tier list. That's one. Right? Of course, they may be dumb putting him there, but he does do a lot of damage. I have him on P0, and he can outfrag a lot of characters. His AI is awful, though, so I get why he's D. He does a shit ton of damage with his gun form, and switching to gun form, I think, does a ton of damage there. His Q ability on his gun form and his Q and E ability on his melee form are pretty weak, but the gun and Quake really, really carry. So I can see where he's coming from here. But his melee form fucking sucks ass, so it kind of really take them down. And now Silver Fang, parry spamming should put him above. Like, if he's P2, he's gonna shred, right? I can see why. Passion characters, same. I think it should be, like, if not up to Puri's level or slightly behind Puri, because he's kind of in the same level with him. Yeah, I can see his kit not working well, but I'd say it's good. His healing arms is actually pretty valuable, but again, he said SS characters here should be a must-have on any team, even with type advantage. So, with that being said, this guy already has a heal. He already has an disable or invulnerability. These two have the same thing, so these guys aren't going to be good, right? And same goes for people like Fubuki. Healer doesn't belong here, right? I think Fubuki should be dropped, though. Now, these two, I think Snek does a lot of damage on AI, even though they said AI is shit on Snek. I think he dishes out damage, and that's what matters. So he should be higher, maybe D at least, but I can see why these two are the worst characters in the game. And then Moomin Rider's Moomin Rider. He's fucking almost as useless as he is in the anime. Legit. He had a glitch, game-breaking glitch, where he could spam his bike. Now he can't. I have this guy on 10 KPL somehow, and while I only have Fubuki on like 6. But yes, Moomin Rider is not the best. And the reason being is he's just doesn't hit hard enough. His moves don't stand out, and he has a disable ability as SR, I think. And when there's so many other people that do better, like Tatsumaki, Sonic, so that's why these guys are unplayable. Zombie Man does need a buff to melee, okay, and Soul Frank does need a buff. Dude, these guys do need buffs. Weak but useful, that's true. Except Stinger and Lily. I really like these two. I don't really see a use in Fubuki, necessarily. I guess Assault. You can run them in Assault Maelstrom. Even then, she's shit on AI, so it's really hard to run her. But yeah. I totally see this tier list and how it's been made, and I can see where it's coming from. But there are a few people I'd like to bump up, like Zombie Man. Of course, this guy, I've been maining this guy for so long. If anyone knows a lot about Zombie Man, it's me, right? And I definitely do see this tier list working out. And I think you should take some notes off this. You could even read the post, right? It's on Reddit, One Punch Man World Game, r slash, of course, and there's a lot of cool notes you can take away from this. Basically talking about each character, the weaknesses, their flaws, in very good detail. So that's why I read all of it. But yeah, it's pretty decent tier list. Definitely top 5. Genos is almost surprising, but I can see why. And yeah, the top 5 characters here are some people you really have to keep an eye out for. 3 of them being limited, Metal Knight being an absolute AI beast, and Genos in the same territory as Metal Knight. He's literally better. They put him higher than him. And then Sonic, again, pretty surprising. I think he should be a little lower. His DPS isn't the best. And he has like 2 useless moves, right? With his Q and E. Does not have any use other than one Maelstrom minigame with the attacking the thief or whatever. His E ability is really good in that one because of the speed and range, but that's about it. So yeah, again, I'm almost doing a second wrap up for this tier list actually, and I think again it's good. And if you have any thoughts, comments down below. Whoever your favorite character, if you think, let's just say your favorite character is Puri Puri, he's all the way down in C. If you think he needs a potential buff up because he's already good, and you want him to put him a little higher in the list, you can tell me just about that. But again, thoughts, comments down below, and I hope to see you guys in my next video. Peace out, everybody, and have a great day.